This is Donna Warren at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, and I would like to demonstrate how to use MindMup to map an argument. First thing you want to do, of course, is to go on the MindMup website. Really easy URL to remember, just mindmup, all one word, .com, right? mindmup.com. Once you're here, we're going to sign in. Now, I am going to be assuming that you are signing in from the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, that you have a UWSP email address. If you do, you'll want to sign in using that because UWSP has a gold access to this program, so you'll have more features if you signed in that way. So I'm going to do sign in. Now, in order to use your UWSP account, you want to do sign in with Microsoft. If you don't have a UWSP account, you can do it with Google, but unless you've paid for your own gold access, you just won't have quite as many features. So I'm going to sign in with Microsoft. And because it remembers me, because I've signed in before, it says you have signed in with, there we are, there's my UWSP email address, proceed. If you have not signed in before to MindMup, you're using your UWSP credentials, you will be prompted to sign in just as if you were accessing any other university resource. And then it will remember you from there on out. So here we are. Now I want to make a new map. So I'm just going to go right up here to the left, create new map. You could also go under File, New, and then, create new map, argument visualization. But I think it's easier just to click on Create New Map. So let's do that. Create new map. There we go. Now you will notice that this box is blue. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so you can see it. You don't want it to be blue because if it's blue, that means that you are in mind mapping mode, because MindMup is a mind mapping piece of, is a mind mapping tool. We want to use it to map an argument. That's a slightly different thing. So in order to get into argument mapping mode, we go under View there, and we're just going to do Start Argument Visualization right there. I'm going to do that again. Under View, Start Argument Visualization. Click on that. Once I click on that, you will see that that blue box will turn white. There we have it. And it has little numbers up here. We'll talk about those numbers later. So now we are using the argument visualization capabilities of MindMup. So let's map it. I'm just going to move this a little bit. You can drag and drop just like you would expect to be able to. Let's suppose I want to make an argument for the conclusion that Lee should buy the house. Okay. And I want a reason to believe that Lee should buy the house. Here's one. That the house is within Lee's budget. So I'm going to want to have another box down here with that as a reason to believe the claim that Lee should buy the house, because the conventions we're using is that the supporting reasons go underneath. So how do I get a box under here? Well, there's a couple of ways. One way is, again, highlight the claim that you want to support and go over here and click on Insert Child Node. It's on the left near the top. Not absolutely the top, not absolutely the left, but right next to it. Insert child node. I'm going to click that, and there we go. Right underneath here, I can write a reason to believe that Lee should buy the house. I'll do that again. Highlight the claim you want to support, click on Insert Child Node, and there we go. And you can just type in there. There's another way. Access or highlight the box you want to support, and instead of clicking Insert Child Node, I am going to hit Enter. There we have it. I'll do it again. Highlighting the box I want to support, hit Enter. And now I will write the reason to believe that Lee should buy the house. The house is within Lee's budget. Good. Now suppose I want a reason to believe that it's within Lee's budget. How would I convince someone of that? Well, suppose we know that Lee's has $150,000 budgeted for a house, and the house costs $100,000. So let's write that down. Again, what did I do? I highlighted this, and now I'm going to hit Enter. Lee's budget is $150,000 for a house. And I want to say that the house is $100,000. Now, that's a separate claim. And the rule of thumb is you only want one claim in the box. That's because it makes it a lot easier to disagree with boxes, right? Among other things. If there's multiple claims in a box and we want to say that something is wrong with the box, it's harder to know what exactly is wrong. So I don't want to write the house is $100,000 right here in this box 3.1. Instead, I want to write it in another box that works with this box. So how can we get that? Well, we're going to highlight the box we're looking at, which is 3.1 here. And I'm going to go up and click on Insert Sibling Node. When I do that, a box will appear to the immediate right. There we go. Okay. I'm going to do that again. Highlight the box I want to combine with some other box. Hit on Insert Sibling Node, and there we go. You'll note that this icon for Insert Sibling Node is not exactly perfect, right? Because it looks like there's going to be two independent claims supporting the claim on the top. That's not what Insert Sibling Node does. It inserts a node that works with the box, right? Not independently of it. But that's just a graphical kind of peculiarity. Another way to get this, what I would call dependent reason here, or some people call it a co-premise, is you can just hit tab. I'm going to do that again. Highlight the thing I want to, oops, what did I do? I accidentally broke that connection. What can happen? No worries. I'm just going to drag underneath, drop, and the connection is reestablished, right? So no harm, no foul. Now I'm going to hit tab, and there we have it again. So let's write down the price of the house. House is, let's say I said $100,000, I think, let's say $120,000 for reasons that will become apparent. There we go. So now we have a little argument, right? Lee should buy the house because the house is within Lee's budget, and we know it's within Lee's budget because Lee's budget is $150,000 and the house is $200,000 or $120,000. Perfect. Suppose though that someone is reading this argument and they think, no, we are totally wrong about Lee's budget. No way is Lee's budget $150,000. Lee's budget is actually $115,000. I misheard, not 150, 115. All right, so we want to object to this. How would we do it? Take a look at these thumbs up, thumbs down. We're going to add an objection. You'll notice that this is now a red line. The red line means it's an objection. So I'm going to put actually Lee's budget is $115,000, $150,000. There we go. So you'll see that this is a red line. What that means is the claim at the bottom is a reason to think that the claim at the top is false. A green line means the claim at the bottom is a reason to believe the claim at the top is true. That relationship is often called an inference. So these lines sometimes can be called inferences. I'm going to actually label this. Look how we can label a line. I'm going to kind of highlight this. Look, label line. I'm going to do that again, just so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to click on the line, label line, and I'm going to write inference A. We'll talk about that inference. And let's label this line too. I'm going to click on this, inference B. This is not an inference. I am the only person I know who uses this term, but I am trying valiantly to get it introduced into the language. I call this relationship an outference because it's kind of the opposite of an inference. So it's an outference A, right? It's a reason to disbelieve the claim at the top. Now let's talk about these numbers for a bit. 1.1, 2.1, 3.1, those are really handy if you have a fairly complicated argument. You can easily say, oh, take a look at claim 3.1, right? Just like I can say, take a look at inference A. If you find them visually distracting, you can get rid of them by going over here. It says hide hierarchical labels. I'm going to click on that. Now they've gone away. If I want them back, I will just click on that again. Now they're back. Good. Let's think about another reason to think that Lee should buy the house. Another reason to think that Lee should buy the house might be that it is near where Lee works. Okay. Now remember over here when I clicked on that little thumbs down for add objection, there's a third way that you can give a reason to believe. Remember, one way is to go over here and click on insert child node, which I'll do. Right. Another way is to hit enter, which I'll do. There we go. Another way is to hit on add reason. There we go. Same effect, because it's the same thing. So the house is near where Lee works. The house is near Lee's company, let's say. There we go. And this would be another inference. So I will call this inference C. Good. Now let's think about a reason to object to this. We've seen one kind of objection over here, but I call this a not so objection. 4.1 is a reason to think that 3.1 is false. So it looks up at 3.1 and basically says not so. What I want to say here is not that this is untrue. Maybe it's true. Let's suppose it's true, but that it's irrelevant because Lee telecommutes. Lee could live states away from where Lee works. It wouldn't matter. So I don't want to do this, right? I'm going to add an objection. Lee telecommutes, because that's not a reason to disbelieve that the house is near Lee's company, right? It's a reason to think that it's not relevant. So I don't want that. I'll just delete that. How do we do those kinds of objections? Well, what I might do if I were writing this down is I might have the objection target this inference, because it really does. It's saying that even though the house is near Lee's company, it doesn't matter. It doesn't follow from this. It's the inference that's the problem. It doesn't follow that Lee should buy the house. But MindMup doesn't allow us to do that. It does allow us to do something else. I'm going to highlight this thing, right? That little bracket. And now I'm going to add an objection here. Lee telecommutes. That's a reason to believe that it doesn't matter how close Lee is to where Lee's working, right? Simply doesn't matter. This is what I call a so what objection. I'm not looking at the houses near Lee's company and saying not so. Instead, I'm looking at the houses near Lee's company and saying, so what? Doesn't matter. Lee can live wherever because Lee telecommutes. Now, why does MindMup have these so what objections go here? Here's why. I'm just going to drag this out. Let's think about, I'm going to hit tab here. Remember, I could have done this by hitting insert sibling node 2. What am I assuming when I go from the house is near Lee's company to Lee should buy the house? I'm basically assuming that Lee should buy a house near Lee's company. Right? That's what I'm assuming. And what this is saying is that it's not relevant, that this is untrue. So now how do I position this under here as an objection? Well, I'm going to position it under here. There we go. But now look, that's wrong, right? Right now, Lee telecommutes is being given as a reason to believe that Lee should buy a house near Lee's company, but it's quite the opposite. It's a reason to believe that it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this, whoops, there. And you see these, the toggle reason objection. I'm going to click on that, and now that red line, green line is going to be red. There we go. So now what was a support incorrectly is now correctly an objection. I'm going to do that again. Now it's a support. Now it's an objection. I just toggle. And I'm going to label this outference B. Because doggone it, before I die, people will be using the word outference, or I shall haunt the world. There we go. That's one way to do it. That's why. Okay, that's why, remember where this objection was before? This objection before was right there. That's why. They're phrasing, they're casting so what objections as not so objections aimed at a hidden assumption. There's a lot packed into that, right? I'm going to just take this out now because I wanted to do it the way it was before. So I'm going to just write it the way it was before. And I just want to have a so what objection represented here. There we go. And let's see, let's come up with another reason to believe that Lee should buy the house. I'm going to hit enter, because that's just the way I do it. Remember, you could also get this by hitting add reason, or you could get this by hitting insert child node. Let's suppose that the house is near water. Better yet, the house is waterfront, right? The house is on the water. Okay. Good. And suppose that Lee has always wanted to buy a house on the water. So, you know, buying a house on the water is a good thing. Let's add that. If Lee should buy a house that's on the water. Oh, by the way, how did I get that again? I did tab. I could also go up here, child node. Lee should buy a house on the water. Why do we think that? Well, maybe Lee always wanted to live on the water. So let's do enter. That will be a reason to believe that Lee should buy a house on the water. But now suppose someone says, no, I mean, it's great that Lee always wanted to live on the water, but sometimes we can't always get what we want. There's lots of different disadvantages to buying a house on the water. Let's say that, here's an objection. Let's say that we know that the bugs are horrible in the summer because of being on the water. So being near the water means lots of bugs. And let's suppose that Lee is allergic to bugs. So now I'm going to hit tab. Lee is allergic. To those bugs. I obviously misspelled allergic. There we go. There we have it. So we have a reason to think that she should buy a house in the water, but then a reason to think that she shouldn't. And I'm going to label these again, just because I have them labeling all along. This would be inference D, I guess. Inference E. And outference B. I haven't figured, I guess, can I label these? I think I can. I'm going to label this as well. Outference B. And then this would be outference C. There we are. Perfect. Unless I lost track of my letters or numbers somewhere. There we are. So that is a map, and that's a pretty complicated one. And there's nothing that a map can do that we haven't seen here. Now suppose though, that I don't like the order of some of these things, because that will happen sometimes. Suppose that for whatever reason, I want to think about 3.1 and 3.2 in a different order. What can I do? Well, highlight one of them, hit Control, and then your arrow. There we go. That will just move it. Control, left arrow. So it's nice. You can move things around like that. See if it works here. Control. No, it doesn't work as well when things get more complicated, but certainly down here it does. Okay. Great. Now let's think about how, suppose I want to share my work or I want to save it. By the way, this will automatically save for you. You see all changes saved. If you need to be prompted to auto save, for heaven's sake, accept the prompt to auto save. It will save you grief. But suppose you want to print it out or something. What you can do is you go under File, Download As. Okay, I would not do print, by the way, because print, especially if maps get big, can get kind of ugly. I would do download as either an image or a PDF if I wanted to do the equivalent of a print. If you want to share it with somebody else, one way to do it is to download it as a MindMup file. That will save on your computer, and then you can open. You can go and open your file. You can find it on the computer and then just suck it up, or somebody else can open it on their MindMup. If you want to get back to your massive list of maps, just click on this little bug over here. Oops, that's weird. Signed in again. I don't know why it logged me off. Alicia by the house. Here we have it. I'm going to click on it again just so you can see it's still there. Boy, it better still be there. Loads. There we are. That's the map that we made. I'm going to click on the bug again. You can also tag these if you have lots of maps and you want to order them. But right now I want to say, suppose that I want to share this. What I want to do is I'll just highlight the map I want to share. If don't click too far over here or you will open the map. In order to highlight the map without opening it, just kind of hit over on the left. You can share it by, let me see. Show my maps, show Teams maps, show maps shared with me. Here we go. Share this map. Click on that. And you can just type the email of the person with whom you want to share it. Crowd link is a feature I haven't explored. I think it allows people to work on a map at the same time, but that's new, and it's certainly new to me anyway. And then you can give permission, of course, view only or view and edit. I'll show that again. So you just want to highlight the map you want to share, go over here to share this map, click on that, and just put the email. You can share with another gold user. So if you have a UWSP email address, you can share it with any other UWSP email address. We have it. So that is your quick introduction to MindMup. It is a really slick program, and I hope you like it. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Just drop me a line. Thanks. Bye.